Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. This is David. Today I wanted to talk about something, I guess, that's important to me. It's probably not going to necessarily apply to everybody, but I mean, in a sense, it could 100% translate. Basically, I wanted to talk about the fact that this year I decided to take this year off and focus fully on acting. Acting is something that I had no idea I would get into, fall in love with. Um, but right around the time that I had moved into my own condo, I found that I had a lot of time, and it was something. Acting was something I think I've always wanted to try, and I always kind of shied away from it, even in high school. Just avoided drama, uh, literally, and the class. No, yeah, I just didn't take drama. I took choir, of course, and I have some sort of exposure and experience in performing, but for whatever reason, acting was just something I was too shy and timid to try. But I think there's that latent sort of want and need has always been there. Um, and then when I finally got into my own space and found that I had just so much more time, you know, considering the fact that I was able to get to work and come back quicker, just there's just a lot of excess time that I didn't have before. I just had to sort of look at what it is that I wanted to maybe do with that time. And I think I had mentioned to my brother that I was curious about acting, and that was it. He was like, "Do it." And so I ended up taking an acting class, and yeah, that was sort of it was the beginning, right? It was I felt this completely exhilarated, an exhilarating feeling, and I immediately took to it. I kind of fell in love with it, and so I've kind of been pursuing acting on the side, I guess, since 2020. I started my first acting class at around like October of 2019, and I think actively started, applying for jobs in 2020, and not the best time considering the pandemic had just started at that point. But some or other, I think I've managed to find some little wins and successes. I managed to meet some amazing people and build sort of a community, around myself at least, or at least one that I can be part of, to collaborate and do creative things with. And that was all really because I started pursuing this on the side, and I didn't think that I would be taking a full year off to pursue this at that point. Obviously, 2020, 2021, kind of took its course, and I did what I could and tried to keep active. But 2022 specifically was, I guess, a pivotal year because I was changing agents, and I got a new agent who was fantastic, and she was really starting to get me more auditions than I was used to before, and it was difficult to manage with my day job. And I mean, I'm probably speaking to the, I'm preaching to the choir with other actors and other creatives in a lot of ways where trying to find the time to manage your day job or whatever it is that's paying your bills with also you know the the pursuit and the passion that you're looking to go after. It's very difficult, very tricky, right? And 2022, I finally got to a point where I had to tell my agent to be like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this, but just do me the biggest favor, hold off on submitting me. um I am going to try and figure some shit out. And I think at that point is where sort of the seed had kind of taken root, where I was like, I need to, if I want to give this a shot, I need to make some decisions and try and give myself a chance to properly take a shot. So I think at that point is where I started deciding, um, you know what, I'm just going to start putting money aside and see what I can do for the rest of 2022 so that I can get to a point in 2023 where I can take a year off and just try acting full time. So, I mean, I think it's fair to say for myself, probably one of the biggest risks I've taken. Um, yeah. I mean, just very much, very much a new thing for me to do where I'm not, actively working on a 9 to 5 or anything that kind of traditionally would allow for some predictability or stability, right? But and I'll talk about this in some other episodes because that'll be going down different rabbit holes. But I had some great transformative experiences in 2022 that gave me a little more confidence and courage to do this, and I'm very thankful for that for sure, because I think ultimately you get to a point where you have the very simple realization that you get to do this thing called life once. And often, and I'm guilty of this probably more than most, often we use practicality as an excuse, a defense mechanism to go after something or pursue something or try something or anything really, right? It doesn't have to be like a life pursuit, even just a hobby or something that you're curious to try. The moment it doesn't fit in naturally or very easily into our life or our routine or whatever, we give ourselves that excuse to be like, yeah, you know what, it's not practical, it's whatever, I'm not going to do it, or we'll see what happens. So I think some of those experiences last year really sort of spoke to me in a lot of ways and reminding me that you get this one chance to do what you want for the most part. And if you're able to do it, right? So I think that's, it was that. And also, I'd be remiss to say that I had some great friends in the acting community who were encouraging me to be like, hey, listen, it's a year. Take a year, give it a shot, see how it goes. The worst thing that happens is you lost a year. And yeah, of course, whatever money you had saved up and whatever you're spending throughout that year to make things work or, tide things over, that is sort of sunk cost in a way. But yeah, if you really do have more to gain than to lose, right? You stand to gain a lot more than you stand to lose, right? And so I think that was definitely an important aspect of me feeling up to taking this chance. It was experiences I went through, but also just people around me giving me the support. Um, but I think there's the practical. As much as I say practicality is sometimes not the best friend, there is a practical aspect to it, which is as you're making the transition to take time off to do something, can you make ends meet? Right? Can you pay your bills? Can you, or do you have any kind of plan to figure it out? And for some people, sometimes I think it's, you know what, I'm just gonna really just go all in and figure it out. And kudos, honestly, it takes a certain level of courage to do that. Um, I knew for myself I needed to have some kind of base for myself, which is where I then put all my energy and efforts into just siphoning money away. And I think for me also, it's just works out to be a bonus in that I'm kind of a frugal person. I don't particularly spend a lot aside from the necessities. I think if anything that I do spend on, it's primarily tied to sort of health or sort of wellness, that kind of thing. Which and some experiences, anything that's gonna give me some point of learning or exposure to something. Those are the things that I rarely hesitate on, because it's just, for me, that's an immense value proposition. Material things for me, There was a point where I definitely enjoyed them, but I think as I'm getting older, I just don't give me the same excitement or joy. So in that way, I was able to definitely save a lot of money, and then continue doing that, especially once you have that idea come into your head that, okay, I am trying to do something next year. I need to really buckle down and be smart about this. That was a big motivator and a big help to be more mindful about saving money and putting money away. So, that's something that definitely gave me the ability to take the year off, right? Um, and I mean, to sort of look at where I'm at right now, it's been challenging for sure, because I think the year is also uh, it's been a bit slow across the industry, and I think whoever else is in our in this field, in this arena, would echo the same sentiments that it's been a bit challenging. um, and so yeah, it kind of it tests your resolve a bit, because your mind is going, okay, well, I did all this, I'm taking this risk, I'm burning through money, what am I getting out of it? And so it's something that I sort of kind of on a daily basis have to wake up and reassure myself that, okay, it's fine. This, in probably the simplest terms, is this is an experiment. You don't get to see the results of an experiment, I mean, depending on the experiment, but you don't really get to see the results of an experiment immediately. It will take its time. So this is a 1 year experiment. I need to be patient. Definitely a virtue I have yet to master. So that's where I kind of now make it a point to focus on the things that are in my control, in terms of just applying for gigs, trying to keep healthy, trying to set myself certain exercises and habits, acting wise, that I can do and kind of keep on top of. And I mean, in a strange, weird way, this podcast now is coming full circle for me, because it was me being able to take this time off, um, that really gave me the encouragement to say, you know what, I want to go back and do this podcast thing, because I've always wanted to do this. But when you're typically focused on your normal routine, in terms of like dated 9 to 5 job or whatever, it's easy to say, I don't have time. I can't do this. Or you also just don't feel that creative, um, you know, urge or itch. But I think being able to take this time to pursue something creative like acting is starting to benefit me and sort of motivate me to apply myself in all the various other creative avenues that I'd like to, explore and go down. So doing this, I feel like, is a byproduct, a huge byproduct of me pursuing acting. And it's also, I think, in a very simple sense, wanting to have some kind of outlet for creative expression, and just uh, doing something. We're doing something positive, and putting something out there that's you, that's something that you're working on. Um, because again, waiting in between gigs or waiting in between auditions, is not a fun feeling. And also trying to find different gigs or day jobs or whatever that might supplement things, that's also a bit tricky. They're also very sporadic sometimes. Some are you know varied in their timing and how much money you can make, etc. But in the time that you do have, this is something that I'm finding now that is very good for me, because this is still being creative, leading to positive things, hopefully. But more than anything, just the act of doing something, applying yourself to something that is a part of you that is kind of coming, being put out there. So that I mean, I am extremely thankful. I mean, in a weird way, to myself, I guess, but just thankful to be in the position to take time off and to just explore and pursue this, acting, and whatever other creative avenues that I'm going to get involved in. And I think that's the thing for me that I've realized. As much as I want to act, and work with amazing people and be part of great stories, etc., I'm worried about calling myself an actor, even though my Instagram page says actor. It's the label, yeah. But I want to act, but I also want to podcast. I've sung when in choirs and stuff growing up. I don't know if I want to be a singer, but I'd love to sing in things. I think if the opportunity presented itself, and if I trained properly, because I'm definitely out of out of touch. But I'd love to sing. Um, I'd love to do some painting. That's something that I still need to get back into. I was doing some a few years back, and I just I have some canvas and paint sitting at home, and I just kind of glance at it, and I keep going about my day and do whatever other thing. So, speaking on some of the topics that I've covered so far in different episodes about routines and things, it's hard to add more and more to your routines, because sometimes you're tired, or you have enough that's on your plate that you can't, or you don't feel like you can give certain things time. But I think overall, what I'm trying to say is just being able to take this time off and pursue something, that I'm interested in, that I'm hopeful about, has also opened up a lot of other avenues of um, other areas that I can look into and pursue, in other aspects of the creative arena that I can sort of play with and explore, right? Um, and to anybody out there who's in a position where there's something that they want to pursue, or there's something that they want to try, I would tell you that if you can manage it in terms of time, if you can manage it in terms of course, money, um, do it. 100% do it. Because I think just it's not worth. Like, regret is probably the worst thing in the world. Um, it just oftentimes some of the things that we're trying to pursue uh, has a very low cost to try. Low entry cost. I think the challenge of any pursuit is, once we start associating that pursuit with our identity, our self worth, uh, our meaning, maybe even purpose, that becomes dangerous. That's something that I'm sort of managing and grappling with and dealing with as well. Um, and I mean, I'll probably talk about that in another episode, because again, I'm probably going into various a bunch of different tangents on this particular episode. But to bring it back, yeah, I would encourage everybody who's in a position to try something that they're passionate about, they're interested in. Do it, because honestly, you have. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to say you have nothing to lose, because there might be things that you might lose. So I'm not going to say that, because I'm in a position where I can take this chance. Not everybody is, and you might have other responsibilities, families, children, whatever, that you cannot just shirk and be easy with. You have to be much more on top of. But I guess what I would say to that is also work towards maybe getting to the point where you can take that shot and take that chance and pursue what you're trying to pursue, or just give that thing that you wanted to try a try. Um, because again, time is short. And again, I'll speak to that time is short aspect on another episode. I got a bunch of stuff that I need to speak to on another episode now, but um, time is short. It is precious. We don't have a lot of it. Um, so I think the simplest fact for me has been to remind myself to spend it with the people I care about, the people I love, and also spend it doing the things that I care about, that I love. that have meaning to me, that I'm passionate about. Um, and again, it's not always easy, uh, but I think it is great to have a conscious thought and effort to do that. Because I think life gets away from us. I mean, it's crazy because I started getting into acting at 28, and I'm 32 now. Um, and in a lot of ways, I'm glad it worked out the way it worked out, because what I learned previous to acting is what is keeping me also balanced and, situated in a way where I can take this chance and pursue acting, right? And I know I wouldn't have been in a position to pursue acting when I was younger. I was far too timid, far too shy. I just Everything happens in a way, and I think everything does happen for a reason. But um, I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, essentially, if you do have the chance, and if you do have the ability, and the option to do it, do it. Um, because life is short and time is precious, and who knows what can come out of it, right? That's I think that's the other part, where you pursue something and you just never know where it can go and what else can happen and who you might meet and all the great things that can come out of it, as long as you're doing it for the reasons of, I love this brings me joy, satisfaction, I'm interested in this, I wake up every day and I feel like this is something I want to apply my time to. And I think it's rare that those kinds of things are going to bring you unhappiness. The pursuit, of course, is challenging, and that could cause challenges, and challenges usually bring some level of unhappiness. But overall, I think, pursuing something that you love it's a win. And just to sort of mention this quote, I remember. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos. Probably a lot of people have stumbled onto this video of Jim Carrey talking about his father. Um, being an amazing comedian, but he never took a shot because obviously he had a family. He was an accountant. He hated, by the sounds of it, he didn't love being an accountant, but he was an accountant because he knew he had to pay the bills and he had to take care of his family, etc. But even that job, he, I think, got let go of, and I think that broke his father in a way. And I think that informed Jim Carrey's approach to his life, because Jim Carrey kind of mentions how you might as well take a shot on something that you do want to do and fail at it, because there's no guarantee that you're not going to fail at taking a shot. Sorry, I'm butchering this. There's no guarantee that you won't fail at taking a shot at things that you don't want to do either, right? Like, you can get let go of things, let go of jobs, get fired, whatever, and you're doing it without any real love or joy, right? And so you might as well take a shot on something that you do want to do. Um, Again, I'm pretty sure I butchered that badly, but if you're interested, look it up on YouTube. He speaks beautifully about some of these topics, uh, and I think it speaks volumes, right? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much time we have, but I think it's great to be able to take the time to pursue something that you want to do, right? So yeah, um, that's really what I wanted to talk about. Uh, yeah, and I'm trying to get better at this. This is new. This is not a thing that I'm gonna be great at right off the bat. So to anyone listening to this, if this does sound like it's all over the place, it is. I'm not gonna bullshit you. Um, I'm trying to find a balance between off the cuff and giving myself some notes. Off the cuff seems to be more natural feeling for me, and it puts me at a state that's more easy to approach this. But I know that involves a little bit of tangents and you know going here, there, and everywhere, and a little chaotic. But I'm also trying to figure out what my voice is with this thing, right? With podcasting, with my channel, So I hope if you've stuck around long enough to get to here, this has been somewhat informative or beneficial. Um, and yeah, again, just the final note that I'm probably repeating myself now many, many times, but I'll still say it. If there is something that you want to do, find a way where you can give yourself that chance to do it. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, still great. You have very little to lose in that sense. Um, so hopefully, if this is gonna help somebody, or just give somebody just a nudge or an encouragement to try something, I think that I mean, that'll make me happy, but that serves its purpose in terms of me wanting to talk about this. Um, yeah. So that's it. That's really it for this episode. Thank you for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.